Hey everyone, how's it going? Trying to get things started out here, and this is um, let's see here. Anyways, I'm out here trying to figure out this whole live streaming stuff, and I'm actually using StreamYard. You can probably see the logo right there. I figured I'd try it out and see how it goes. Uh, did I do the wrong side? Maybe it's this side. um, but anyways, um, we're actually waiting for one person to join us. And so I'm going to be uh, working with Khalif. The problem he has right now is his power just went out because of the storm. If any of you from Metro Detroit, you know that we just went through a hell of a storm. I think a tornado just went past us or something like that. It's crazy out there. So actually, we just got Khalif added. How's it going, man?
Oh, rolling with the punches.
So I see that we're because of this storm and your power is still out right now, right?
Yeah, our power's out. Uh, Looks like on our half of the subdivision here.
Okay.
So we
So
got the worst part of the flip of the coin.
wow. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, it's crazy on what rolled through. I mean, I only heard a little bit of it, but I guess a tree came down. You said on yours.
Yeah, the fire department actually walked up my driveway, and I seen another firefighter in my neighbor's backyard, and said I guess wind came through, knocked some branches down, and that's the cause for the power outage, at least on our side of the street.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least you didn't have the tornado go through there.
Right.
So, um, but hey, it is what it is. So, we gotta keep this going. Did you get dinner yet?
The
Did you
girls
get?
are eating.
Yeah.
Um, and that was my main thing to make sure we had to pivot and switch gears. Intended to cook on the stovetop, but with electric appliances, that ain't happening right now. So I had to hop on the grill um,
Okay.
to get them something before we put them to bed.
No, I completely understand, man. Next time you gotta bring me my steak, man.
I know, right? Yeah, my daughter's
So,
first day of school. That's what she wanted for her dinner. So, all right,
yeah, I gotta give the daughters what she wants. So,
exactly.
you know, but so my thing is so I run the Metro Detroit off market real estate group, and obviously we're live in that group. Khalif, why don't we have you introduce yourself and what you do so we can kind of get a better so my people can get a better understanding of my audience can get a better understanding of who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Yes, yes. My name is Khalif Williams. Originally from upstate New York, but been a resident of the Metro Detroit area since 2017. Started wholesaling here locally in the Metro Detroit area at the top of 2018. Haven't really looked back since. Um, I specialize in the Tri-County area, Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland counties. Um, Started wholesaling, was able through creative financing means to pick up a deal that we actually turned into a primary residence for now. Um, and I'm just looking to network with more like-minded individuals to do more deals. I'm looking to turn that corner to start doing some more buying and holding, and recently had
Hmm.
some conversations about fix and flips. Um,
Okay.
I linked up with Randy probably about a year and a half ago, um, through my group, Metro Detroit MI off market deals. Um, and we've done, I don't know, man, we've probably done at least a dozen, if not more, deals now over
Yeah.
the last year and some change.
Plus a dozen headaches.
Man, man, probably twice as many headaches. But
Yep.
I'm happy to see you starting the group. Taking my advice and my pushing to do it because it's a game changer. I'm
And
happy to hear.
if it wasn't for this man right here, I would not have started this group. I will say that. So I owe a debt of gratitude and a big thanks to Khalif here. So
No, man, I send it right back to you, man. You took action. All I did was lead you to the water, and you took it off in a great way. I think you have you clipped 600 members now. Or are you on the way to 700? Where you at?
yeah, so we just hit over 650 members
And that's in what, 2
today.
months time?
Yeah, it's I think I started this back in either end of April, beginning of May, somewhere around there,
Yeah,
and it's grown. It's grown big time.
yeah,
So
man. No, I'm proud of you, bro. Like you're gonna see, man. It's I mean you're already seeing it. Just the
yes,
relationships that come from it that I'm learning in the market that we're in. Relationships are everything to get deals and keep deals going. So um,
most
you're doing
definitely.
a great thing, and I appreciate you, thinking of me to hop in here and speak to your audience.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it, and that's the biggest thing is I wanted my audience actually um to see like where, from beginning, from beginning to end, like where we are, how we came about it as well. But not only that is, you know, I come across new wholesalers a lot, but I know you do as well. And with that, we both know, some of the common questions and common things like that that come across, and you know I'm here. I help wholesalers. You help wholesalers as well. We both JV, and we also, I eventually will do my own fix and flips and buy and holds. And I know you have done some here and there. So what are some of the questions, the common things the common mistakes that you see from wholesalers, and then what are the common questions that you see from wholesalers, some brand new wholesalers?
From brand new wholesalers, the common mistake I see is that they follow that wholesale adage that if you lock a deal up, the buyer will come. And what I
Hmm.
find time and time again is that they're locking up deals, but they don't have a buyer in mind for the deal. And the issue being with that is that if you have no idea on the type of buyer that's buying in that area, you may tend, as a newbie, to lock it up too high for the sake to get a deal under contract. Um, which
Now you're cutting out a little bit here.
it's all
I don't know if it's
about
I don't
getting
know if it's my
out there
internet or
and
yours.
taking action. But again, you want to make sure that you can perform for your seller. Uh, Offer that you're giving, that you're going to be in my back.
Yeah, it looks like the internet is just slow. It's cutting in and out, on your end. Okay, so while he tries to catch up here, let me try to see. So it gets, from my
Uh,
understanding, from what he was
is it
saying.
me? Am I
Yeah, yeah,
am I
yeah,
clear?
yeah. Okay, I think he's back now. Is there a big delay? So I think what he's saying was that there was a big, there's a big misconception to get the deal first and then find the buyers. And I think the idea is I understand that where that comes from, but the idea, I think, is misunderstood. And
Am I
you
coming?
know, yep, you're coming in a little bit, but it's hard. Let's see here. Let's see if you can come back in here. Okay, it looks like he is gone for the moment. I apologize for that. Let me see. He might be coming back. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry about this, everyone. Some technical difficulties. And yeah, I think your internet was bad. So he just texted me actually, saying I was going in and out, and he was going in and out too. Um, so I think what he was saying, the gist that I was getting at, what he was getting at, was that new beginning wholesalers are locking up these deals way too high, and then hoping that they'll find a buyer when they need to find the buyers first, figure out where they want to be, and then come in a little bit later. So um, come in and see where they're at now. So hold on. Oh, hey Gary, how's it going? I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in and saying hi. So, Andrew, I sent you a link already. If you wanted to join, just go ahead, and I sent it through Messenger. All right. But the thing is that I completely agree with them, where they're sending in, they're getting deals locked up too high, hoping to find a buyer. And what I think should happen is people should be building a buyer's list. These wholesalers should be building a buyer's list, trying to figure out where they're buying, and then from there, uh, do their marketing, skip tracing. Because another thing that I've seen is that they're buying in, or not buying, but they're marketing in a bunch of different areas that they need to, um, areas that they need to, um, they're kind of scattered all over the place. Sorry, that's kind of my brain. and kind of go from there. I'm gonna add Andrew here. How's it going, Andrew? Can you hear me? I can't hear you, Andrew. You're on mute. No. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I hear something. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Check. Okay, it's picking me
Check.
up.
Check.
How do I hear?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear myself through your voice. How's it going, man? You there?
You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Except me.
Oh man. You there?
Oh,
I think your headphones.
there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, let me try and get these headphones back on, see if it works. Sound check.
Sound check, check, check.
There we go. Yeah, I don't even need that. What's up, Randy?
Yeah. How's it going, Andrew?
Again, look at this yard.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
Well, the sun's setting, you know. It's getting that time of year. We used to about a month and a half ago, it would set at 10:30.
That's the crazy part about this time of the year, you know? So Andrew lives you live on the west side of the state, right?
Northwest Lower Peninsula, so up where the pinky finger, tip of the pinky finger. Yep.
Okay, so you live up towards like Harbor Springs area.
More closer to Traverse City. So
Traverse City. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome, man. And so you wholesale as well, but you virtual wholesale, right?
Yeah, I'd say about 99% of what I do is virtual. A lot of it comes from direct to seller text message marketing and really
Okay.
just making conversations. You know, I jumped on this morning and had 75 different communications in the pipeline. So it was just a matter of getting through that, and connecting with people and trying to find the right. Thank you. Relax. Try to find the right the right fit. You know, would say
Yeah.
how many people of those are true deals. You know, not every single one, right? We know, but
Oh, exactly.
no, it's good. Yeah, I'm actually planning on coming down Wednesday. Right now, I have 5 walkthroughs set up between
Okay.
10 and 6. So I'm trying to fill out the day, see if I can get a couple of more
Okay.
in the schedule.
So even though you do virtual, you still come down here to do walkthroughs.
Yeah, I've really only done it once before, and that was a great day. I went down, walked 4 properties, got all 4 under contract. So if I can continue to do that, you know, every time I go down and come back with a bunch of contracts, that's fine with me. That's time well spent. So
That's awesome. So my friend Gary actually posted this, and I have a new streaming app, so that's why it just says Facebook user. I got to upgrade to the paid version, but it says if you don't have a buyer in your area you're marketing in, you either buy it yourself or not market there. So you should have buyers in the target market. I completely agree with that. What are your thoughts?
yeah, because you know, for me being in rural northern Michigan, there really aren't any buyers. So what happened to me last summer, I did 2 flips because there was nobody to buy it, and they worked fine. But I knew through my business that dealing with contractor bottlenecks in middle of nowhere northern Michigan, where the inventory of quality contractors and tradespeople is hard to come by. You know, I do now
Yep.
a couple of tight people on my team I can rely on, but man, if I don't have those people lined up, it's hard for me to flip. And
Exactly.
really dialing into Metro Detroit was was to reinforce that. I'm like, hey, let's go where the volume is. Let's go where the investors are. Let's go where the buyers are. See how many more deals we can do, rather than
Yep.
babysitting a flip for 3 months and making sure adults show up to work every day to get the job done. Let's get them
I,
on the front end, you know.
oh yeah, I know that.
Somebody
I
else
know
take
that.
that on.
So, what percentage of your deals are direct to seller, and what percentage are JV deals?
Um, I'd say, I don't know, probably 90% are direct to seller.
Okay.
It's
So,
kind of
what marketing channels are you doing? Are you doing to do that?
just texting for the most
Just
part.
texting?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're text blasting,
text blast in
and
large quantity. Yep, doing. I have a VA who does batch texting for me, so she'll do
okay,
2,500 texts a day, Tuesday through Saturday. So that gets us
okay,
to 50,000 a month, and we're getting about a 90% delivery rate. So about
hmm
4,200 are going through, and then about a 10%
okay,
response rate. So we're having about 200, 220 conversations on a daily basis, and that's getting us to 4 to 8 warm leads a day. You weed through a lot of FU, wrong number,
yes,
what's your offer, I'm just fishing, things like that before
yep,
you can actually get a decent one. So um, it's
okay,
interesting. Because of that volume, we can kind of see where trends are going and stuff like that. So we really dipped in July, just
okay.
doing stuff out and about in the summer, not thinking about moving. I think that holds pretty true up here too. Once Memorial Day hits, people just start their summer and they're not interested in buying anymore, just from a retail
Yeah.
space. So uh, yeah, no, it's good. It's pretty much, I'd say, yeah, almost all the deals come through direct to seller texting, and then
Okay.
keeping the network open. Having people available, different leads come up, and it's really just a matter of getting creative, seeing what we can do, and helping.
What are what are some of the most common objections that you get?
I think a big one is people still think it's a seller's market. So
Yeah.
really having a motivated enough seller to understand, and it takes a minute to kind of walk through the process of like, look, if you want 200, like, yeah, it'll sell at 200, but then it's going to cost you a solid 8 to 10% after you pay all your transfer taxes and your closing costs and your realtor fees and your concessions, because they want this fixed, that fixed, whatever. It adds up
hmm
quick. So having that conversation is like, look, top of the market, it's worth 200, but you're only going to get 185 from it, and that's if it's full retail ready to go. Now, does it need some work from there? Okay, let's back it off from there. How much do I need to do it? Well, I can't do it for free. I need to be able to make a profit. So next thing
Yep.
you know, something that's after repair value worth 200, you need to be buying it at like 120, 130 on a super light rehab to make any money on it. So
Oh, most definitely. And that's the thing that, like, since rehab costs have gone up, people think that you can spend 10 grand and do an entire house and do an entire rehab. So last week we were on here, and actually my buddy Gary, who had that answer on the who had that answer in the comment there, he was telling us, as far as the rehab goes, I mean, if it's a gut, you're looking at $55 a square foot, you know.
and that's light times too.
Yeah. So, and then if it's not, if it's still, carpet paint and just like still needs a kitchen, needs a bathroom, whatever, you're still looking at about $35 to $40 a square foot. So, and it really does depend on there, depending on whether you're going after a buy and hold or a flipper, you know.
Yep.
And some of the buy and hold people, they're not buying right now, or some of the flippers are not buying right now because of how, interest rates have gone like this. And it's, they, if they do buy it, they have to buy it super cheap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Get the
So
maximum motivation.
yeah, yeah. So for me, that's what I've noticed is like even some buy and hold investors, because they do the burst strategy. So they still, at the end of the day, want to be able to recoup their money out of it. And, they're like, okay, well, we still got to be at 75% ARV once we're all done. And even then, they're starting to come down even further because of the interest rates. So,
Yeah, I just had I was in the process of doing a refi on a larger portfolio, and the bank's like, yeah, we just got to take 10% off the top of what we can give you principal, just because there's too much going on with interest rates right now. I'm like, cool, I guess that cash out refi strategy didn't work super great, but he said, hey, you know what, we got time.
yeah.
12 months from now, we can certainly put a second tranche on it, and we can tap into that equity. We just need the stability to happen before then. So
Yeah, and I get it. I really do. The banks, they're trying to be conservative versus trying to give, being back in 2008, 2000, or 2007, 2008, when they were just, before that time, they were just giving everybody whatever they wanted, you know. And I think that's what caused that whole crash, is because they were just saying, "Here you go. Whoever wants it, take it," you
right.
know. And everybody's like, "Oh, this is going to be the next 2008 crash." It's not, because the banks are being conservative. You're not getting, you don't have those arm length loans to these people who can't afford it anymore. So I don't think
Yeah,
that we're going to
that's
get
an
that.
interesting concept, because I was chatting with my buddy who's a local residential lender um,
Yeah,
2 weeks ago,
yeah,
and he said what we see a lot of times is that people have this right now. They have this really great first position loan on their homes because interest rates were crazy low and people got them in at like 3.5, 4%. Now that their homes have appreciated with all the money that they've printed over the last couple of years, they're going out and getting home equity lines of credit in second position. So it's great. They're being able to tap into more equity. Use it correctly. I have one. I use it to invest actively.
yeah,
But he said what we're starting to see is that people are getting the HELOC and they're going out and they're like doing a kitchen renovation or doing whatever, and they're carrying that money because it's a floating line on whatever's going
yeah,
on in the market as the interest rates keep going up. He's like, you got people locked in on this, like, they're getting up 6, 7, 8% on their HELOCs plus their mortgage. They're going to be over levered and can't afford the payments anymore, so they're going to be forced to refinance. And as a
yep,
result, they're going to have to wipe out their really good debt in first position. They'll leave themselves, you know, wrapping, the entire value of their property into a higher, 6, 7% 30-year mortgage, where they might be able to float that in the short term on payments. But if people keep getting pressed on, a recession, downturn, job loss potentials, things like that, foreclosures are up a bunch this year in 2022 compared to the last previous years. So it's a little bit of everything where that snowball effect might start to happen. So what I like to do,
yeah,
say, if you're getting a HELOC, treat it as an asset, not as a
yes,
liability. Well, your house is a liability because it doesn't cash flow and you live in it. So
yeah,
you disassociate yourself from your HELOC and say, oh, no, this is an asset. I'm tapping into the equity of my home, and now I'm going to use that effectively to go out and invest in the market. That's a lot of what I help people with, is because I have rental properties where I can stick funds from a HELOC and people can receive interest from me. Say we'll lock them in, they pull money from their HELOC and it's locked in at 4.75%. Okay, cool. I'll lock them in at 8%. So they're making a spread of 3.25% on their money. And we'll lock it in for a 60-month period, 5-year term, because we have the flexibility cash flowing that property every single month. So that person's making a spread on assets that are sitting in their home doing nothing for them. So that's super clever. I had a ton of success with that over the last couple of years. And it's just all about that mindset of disassociating yourself
yep,
with, oh, this isn't just slush money. It's an
yeah,
asset that I can invest with. So I actually helped this friend of mine set this up, and he wanted to do a kitchen renovation. I said, hey, look, get your HELOC set up first. And rather than pulling from your HELOC and doing the kitchen renovation where you end up, paying for your kitchen over the next several years, why don't you wait 24 months, invest that money, and then the income you earn from that go and pay for your kitchen renovation? That's exactly what he did. He just finished it last month.
Oh wow. Yeah, see, I just bought a house, um, I just bought a house and I am doing this I did this kitchen renovation, but I am not. There's a few strategies that I did. When I went to Lowe's, I got the cabinets off on a credit card with a lot 24 months no interest, and plan on paying it off before then.
Mm-hmm.
And then going from there, like everything that I could get at no interest, make sure I paid it off within that time frame. I use all my wholesaling money to pay for all that right now.
Nice.
So, and that's what I'm doing. So as I go, I'm paying that down and I'm using my wholesaling money to do that, you know, and, Gary here, he has it, he has the same thing, like the same thing you're saying. You don't want to party off your HELOC
You
because
party with the income from your HELOC.
that's right. You party with the income from your HELOC, and that's the thing. Like your HELOC, if it changes interest rate, you don't want to do that. You want it to make you money. If you put it in your own home, that will make you money throughout time, but it's not a good decision when rates are going up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get a HELOC where it locks it in at a rate, by all means, I do it.
Yeah,
Only if it locks it in.
the local credit union we use here in northern Michigan has a unique HELOC structure where when you pull money out, those funds are locked in on a 15-year principal and interest term. So a lot of HELOCs is like you pull the money out, it's interest only, and then you got to put the money back. Eventually, you'll stop accruing interest on it. So that's the stability and convenience that we have by using this product at the local credit union. It's credit union, so no fees on pushing your money around, things like that. The whole process to set up a HELOC is like $400. You're getting an appraisal that's like $500, so you're all in for like less than $1,000, and it's been worth it every time we've set one up. So.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So there's Marvin. Let me say that. Marvin Wheeler. He asked this. He said, "What strategies work best for when buying and holding?" So since I don't own any properties yet, I'm only in theory. I'm a wholesaler. I want to own properties later on, and I want to do buy and holds later on. So do a couple flips, but do some buy and holds is my main thing because I want to build wealth. I want that cash flow. I want that cash flow coming in.
That's right. Cash flow is king, not cash.
Cash flow is king. So maybe you can answer this question the best. What strategy
there's a couple different things I look for. As a CPA, I love pounding the numbers.
Whoa! You just drove over that. You're a
what?
CPA.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my former life. Yeah.
Come tax time, I'm coming to you.
Okay? No, well, I was a healthcare nonprofit auditor, so all my clients had zero taxes. So.
Oh wow. So.
So I just my zone of genius is pounding numbers and deal analyzing. So for me, there's four profit centers of rental property, right? Thank you. One is your cash flow. That's what I buy on, is cash flow. Number two is the appreciation of your property, the growth over time in your market. Number three is depreciation. So having the tax advantages on your personal tax return if you're buying them personally. And then number four is equity growth. By having the tenant pay down your mortgage, you're increasing your equity every single month. So I buy primarily off of cash flow. Not very often do I look at the other three factors because cash flow is most important for me in my business strategy right now, where If I can cash flow, then it'll make sense for me. So that's step one, is making sure that it can cash flow. My minimum is 10%. I'm usually looking for 15% or above. It really comes down to buying in the right areas. You got to have, you can do whatever, like back of the napkin formula you want, the 1% rule or whatever. It really comes down to just being able to quickly do a deal analyzer and have it work for you, so what your numbers are and what you're looking at. So, for example, I called on a property in Lincoln Park last week, got under contract for 85. The property's worth 117, but it'll rent for 1,300. So doing that quick math, I punched it into my deal analyzer. It came out as about a 17-18% cash flowing property. So that's a big factor. Is it going to cash flow from day one, or day 15 if you get a property delivered to you vacant? Another key factor is budgeting for the big stuff. I always take 25% for property management. That's 10. 5% vacancy, and then maintenance and capital expenditures. You only put a roof on once every 20 years, but you really need to be budgeting every month for that.
That roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay. Those are the budgets that go into the deal analysis. Then the other big thing is really about where you're buying, and buying at the right price. We hear it all the time. You get your check at the end of a rehab, but you really make your money on the front end by buying right. And the same thing is pretty true with rentals. You do have a little more flexibility, because you don't need to take your flip profit at the end of the day and make money. That could just be equity in your rental, or you can buy retail and still cash flow the property.
Right.
For me, I'm looking for things where they're in markets that are going to consistently appreciate over time. It doesn't have to be much. 1, 2, 3% returns significant numbers on a 5, 10 year, 20-year hold. So
not this 10, 15, 20% that we've had over the past year or two.
Right. So I'm always down to buy as much as I can, as fast as I can, because the dollar's depreciating like crazy. And what's real estate? It's just a vehicle to short the U.S. dollar. So
that's true. That's true.
So that's one thing I think of. And then rent rates too. We got a lot of tired landlords out there right now who've had tenants in properties for multi-years and haven't had rent increases. And with the amount of cash they've been printing too, the local rent markets are going up. So the opportunity to raise them over time, I have a heart, and I'm not going to come in and say, hey, we're going to raise rent 50% on you this month, take it or leave it. I like to step people up over time. If they've been good tenants, I'd love to keep them. And that's really where my passion lies, is providing more long-term housing, rather than, especially in Northern Michigan, where people take their rentals and turn them into short-term rentals. Now no one else locally has a place to stay. So a little bit of everything in that response, but cash flow. Buying in the right place, consistent creation, and then looking for value add opportunities through either like light rehab or increasing the rent rates, or both, or everything like that.
That actually brings me to one other thing is, how do you raise the rent on a property you buy? You know what I mean? So, like for instance, we had we sold a property, or I didn't say, I had another one of my investors say they came in, they bought a fourplex, and they had 3 of the renters were great tenants, and so what they did is they put them on a schedule throughout. I think it was like a year-long schedule. Every month it would go up a certain amount, and if it got too much, by all means you didn't have to renew, and you would move out. But the plan was going from forward that it's not, say, it goes from $500 a month straight to $1,200 a month. It's gradual, but at the same point, like, there's you have these tenants that's been sitting in and having rent rates at like 400, way below what market rent is.
Right.
You know, they're having very cozy, you know, and they can afford it. They just, and I mean, heck, I do the same thing. If somebody was only giving me $400 and for a long period of time, heck yeah, you know. But we just also sold a duplex that one side needed renovation, the other side there was a tenant in there paying $400 a month for a 2 bedroom on the east side of Detroit, and it wasn't it was an older house, but still, you know, rents going for a 2 bedroom for a duplex were still upwards of the you know 10,000 or not, sorry, 10,000, sorry, you know, upwards of the $800 to $900, you know, if not $1,000, you know. But yeah, it's crazy on how everything is. But yeah, I mean, you know, so what is your you know, what do you usually do when you get a property and you have to raise rents like that? Do you
Yeah. So
what's the conversation?
right now, I'm under contract to buy a fourplex up here, and current rents are $765 a month, and market rent's $1,200. So I need to get to 1,000 per unit. Two of them are
Yeah.
vacant, so there's an opportunity to bring somebody in right away, potentially at full market price. That'll help offset the lower ones. But I did this. I bought a very similar fourplex 2 years ago, and I just had a frank conversation. I'm like, look, guys, market rents around here are $1,200 a month. You guys have been good quality tenants. We would love to keep you in place, but we got to bump up to $1,000 a month. At the time, they're at like 800 or something. And I said, you can kind of take it or leave it. That's where we need to be for the numbers to make sense. It's a business for us. The income from this property feeds our family. It's what I do for a living. It's how I make money, how I make a living. So that's just kind of how everything makes sense. And in the market that we're in right now, a lot of people, at least in my experience, have been just taking the rent increase, and it kind of comes down to buying in the right areas too. You can't, what's the term? You can't squeeze nothing out of nothing. If people are at the bottom and they're barely making $400 a month, going and saying, hey, we're going to 450, that might not work for that person. So making sure you can field your property with the right kind of quality tenants that you're going through. You got to have a great tenant onboarding process. I do a couple different things. I have a pre-screener, like pre-application form that people fill out, and it just general questions about income, about number of family members, do you have pets, things like that. They can ask questions, and then from there I kind of make my next selections. And if the rent's $1,200 and they show I'm making $2,000 a month, they're not the tenant for me, because I don't need somebody who's going to try and scuttle by every month, hopefully making rent. And then once we get through the actual selection process, and even raising rents on existing tenants, we say, hey, we're locking you in for the next 12 months. I do 12-month contracts, and then consistent with the state of Michigan, you can terminate the contract 30 days written notice for any reason or no reason at all. So basically, it's kind of like a month to month for the next 12 months, but being a 12-month period, locking you in at $1,000 a month gives you the stability, knowing that your rent's not going up for the next 12 months while you're in this contract. So that's the initial conversation, just being open and honest with people and saying, hey, we're here to provide high quality rentals. That's our passion. And that's what we're going to focus on doing. Obviously, either this property is in great shape or this person was a tired landlord and there's some improvements that need to be made. We're going to reinvest in the property, and that's how we're going to do it. So,
Okay.
But yeah, my phone is
Now,
dropping to 1%, so I may jump off, but
no, that's okay. I have one last question on that. When you come across a property wholesaling, okay, and they have low rents, what is your strategy towards that? How much of a discount do you have to have?
if it's low and they're
Looks like I might have lost him here. So Yeah, he had 1% battery life, and that was it. So, but it's it's interesting, and I'm taking what he says to heart on everything, because the thing is that um, you know, he's in there and he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing wholesaling as well as he invests himself. So I'm here, I'm wholesaling, I'm doing everything I can. But I am I don't have all the answers. I'll do everything I can, but I know people who to go to. So, um, one of Matt, actually, I wanted to get him on there, but I wanted to get the question on here, but he showed that he wanted me to explain about subject to with a house and a mortgage. So subject to is basically where uh, we would take over their existing mortgage. So you have to find out what their PITI is, uh, uh, property insurance taxes, or property. I don't know what the I stands for. It's basically your property insurance and your property taxes. Okay, as well as your uh, uh, what's the name of it? Principal insurance tax, or principal interest taxes and insurance. That's what it is. PITI. Principal interest taxes and insurance. So your total monthly that they pay out every single month, uh, including all of that. And then you have to find out if they're behind, what are they behind on their rearages, things like that. So hopefully my signal is not bad. Connection's unstable. So oh, I got Andrew back. Oh my God! Hey, you said 1%, and as soon as I had,
No
you're like,
doubt.
that was it. It was done. Oh
So I heard your
man.
question, though, if you want me to comment
Okay.
on it.
Yes, I do. I really do.
So it's kind of like a two-pronged attack. The first one is, if your rents are what they are and the person's locked into a multi-month term contract, it's like, hey, it is what it is. I have to evaluate this property based on the rent that you're charging, and that's what I can pay for it. I need it to cash flow. I got to get 10%. If you're renting for $500 a month, I need it for less than $50,000, because that won't cover the taxes, insurance, and then me making 10% at the end of the day. So
Right.
So that's the first approach. The second approach is, if they're month to month, it kind of comes down to push or shove. Like, oh, this great tenant, you love them. They've been in there for forever. They're paying $700 a month. Okay, we can keep them in there. Are you willing to take $60,000 for the property? Oh no, it's worth $100,000. Well, rent's going to have to go up. Would they be open to a rent increase? Well, they're going to have to be, blah, blah, blah. Well, market rent's $1,300 if you want $100,000 for your property. Oh, we can't afford that. Okay, then we're probably going to need it delivered vacant, just to kind of warn you, so we can implement our strategy and give you as much money as we can. But I'm going to need to cash flow the property, and I'm going to lose money if I'm keeping rent at $700 a month. So it's really push comes to shove. Like, hey, do you really want as much money as possible? Do you really like this person?
I 100% agree with that, and it's like, I had this same duplex I was talking about. I was like, the biggest downfall was the tenant was paying $400 a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's outrageously low. And I'm like, the rent rates were, for a 2-bedroom, in that area, are going anywhere from $900 to $1,000, possibly Section 8, maybe $1,100. But it really is crazy, and you really, unfortunately, have to give a discount because of that, and these sellers are not realizing that. So they want the most amount of money out of it as possible. And
yeah, that's what you kind of ran into that a little bit over the last 6 months or so. People,
Yep.
they don't want to deal with the headache of raising rents on their tenant or kicking them out and put somebody new in there. They just want to sell it. They want, they want it at like a 4 cap or, whatever, like just really low return and keep it as is. That's honestly how I picked up 10 doors near me, was because the guy didn't even want to go in and like talk to him about replacing carpet. He's just like, screw it, I'm just putting it on the market, and got it at a steep discount and raised rent 40% in 45 days. And 9 out of the 10 people took the rent increase because they look at the market and say, oh, $1,250 a month when the market rent's $1,800. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that because that's what I'll end up. I'm still keeping a discount. I'm locked in for the next 12 months, and if I show a good relationship, they're going to keep me around. So,
yeah, and that's the thing is that it's, rents go up about, you can bring up rents about, a few percentage points, 5%, 10%, whatever, every year, or every time you renew the lease. And if you don't do that, you're actually doing a disservice to the property itself. You're lowering the value of that property, especially when you want to turn around and sell it. When I get a property in Detroit and they're like, oh yeah, they're paying $1,000 a month. Great, awesome. As long as my next question is do you have rent rolls to prove that they're actually paying on time? Because I don't want to get in there, with all
so
this.
often
and saying,
that's not the case either. Yep.
Exactly. They're like, oh no, it's just cash. It's my friend, blah, blah,
so
blah. This,
a
that.
couple of tricks about that. So when I write my contracts, I write into the other line at the bottom. I'm like, lease agreement must be delivered within 24 hours upon written acceptance, and rent rolls too. So I need your information within 24 hours of you accepting. Otherwise, you're not serious about this, and we're not going to go forward.
Yeah, I usually try to get that before I make the deal, though. So,
I'm doing it virtual. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I'm getting through so many every day. Like I'm just most of the time just trying to get an offer on that first phone call. Just kind of get it out the way.
And I think that's what holds me back, honestly, because I try to get all my ducks in a row beforehand. And then and kind of go from there. I get all my ducks in a row to make sure. Okay, great, you got this. Do you have this? Do you have that? All right. Here's my offer.
Right.
By the time I do that, somebody else like you has already hit them an offer, and they're like, okay, sign.
Well, that's why I laugh. Like people say, "Oh, I'm sure you've seen this. It's been on the market." Like, man, I do not have time to go look through what hit the MLS every day. Eventually, I'll build a system for that, but I'm not there yet. My pipeline's just turning enough where I can stay within it and keep moving deals.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like for me, I get a lot of new wholesalers who say, "Oh yeah, I have this deal. I want to sell it, and ARV is 85,000." They're like, "Yeah, I'm looking to get 65,000." How much work does it need? Oh, nothing. $10,000. Even at that, even if that was true, at $10,000, that's still not a deal.
Sometimes you never know. I mean, like that's
but
I was looking at something the other day. It's just like, if somebody wants, that's why I've been starting to open my brain more to terms situations.
Oh,
because man, if you want full retail for it, that's fine. Like as long as I can cash flow the property, I don't care. I'll pay you $100,000 over, because over the course of 30 years on a mortgage, I'm going to pay 2.5 times the value of this property.
If I can ever find a property on terms, okay, I bring up terms all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times, they are, I need the cash for my next project. Or I need this. Well, unfortunately, this is going to be my offer for that,
Yeah.
So I haven't done a deal yet on terms, but I want to. Actually, what I want to do is I want to take a deal down on terms myself. That that ultimately is my goal. Is I want to take a deal down on terms, Or if I come across a multi-unit, I want a JV with somebody who they'll have, they come up with the money and I'll do the work, whether it needs renovation, manage property, do whatever, things like that. And, so I'm constantly looking for people
Hey,
to work with on that.
private lenders, man. Anybody in your
Yeah.
network who's got access to capital, whether through stocks or
Yeah.
savings or equity in their home,
Yep.
that's what I'm doing right now on this fourplex by me is built up a relationship with my local community bank, and they're going to fund 80% of the purchase and the rehab. So we already
Oh,
have a
wow.
budget put together for all of that. It's going to be one loan, 6 months
Okay.
interest only, and after that it's going to go principal and interest, and it's just going to be a standard commercial loan.
Now on that, did you come up with the other 20%, or did you find another private money lender to come
No,
up with
I'm
20%?
actively looking right now. I have I think like 4 or 5 people interested, because it's
Okay.
the same thing I talked about before, putting it on a 5-year term, paying 8% principal and interest over the course of 5 years.
Yeah.
It's a perfect spread. What's the math I did? If you're borrowing money on a HELOC at prime at 5.5 right now, and I'm paying 8%, you're making 2.5 spread. And the dollar amount I'm looking to raise is $75,000. So if you put that in over time, basically over the course of 5 years, you make $10,000 on the equity in your house that was just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a really stable situation because of the cash flow of the property and the amount of dollars you're in relative to it. Purchase plus rehab is going to be something like maybe like $300,000 all in.
Okay.
So
now what's the purchase price of that fourplex?
I'm under contract for $215.
Okay, that's not bad.
Healthy renovation budget. Yeah, like that's what I target, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for opportunities like that. So healthy renovation budget of $80,000. I don't think we're going to need that, but I've buffered for it. And accordingly, when we did our inspection on Friday, there's electrical issues, and I'm probably going to spend 30 to 40 grand updating the electrical. But I had built that into the budget where I can refresh units I still have 10 grand to work with on each unit to refresh it and get them rented out for $1,200 a pop, all in for less than $300,000, including closing costs and everything. But it's renting for $4,800 a month. That's about I could email it to you. You could check it out. I have a whole investor memo on everything like that.
Definitely.
But the internal rate of return is like 36% year over year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's the thing. Like, is that, and what area is that in? Is that up by you in Traverse City?
Yeah. So it is.
Here?
It's close to me. It is 45 minutes southwest of my house. So I live a half hour south of Traverse City, and this is another 45 minutes from me. So it's really kind of like in this middle of nowhere village between Manistee and Traverse City.
Okay.
So
it's not a place. Is it a
people
place
live
where,
everywhere?
Is it a place where you'd have a nice Airbnb or anything like that?
You could. It's a little awkward being a fourplex, but again, going back to my passion of providing long-term housing that are good quality rentals. I'm not a big fan of buying a fourplex, kicking people out, and then making them all Airbnbs. And I don't like being a GM of a tiny hotel, where you got to answer all the questions and everything. And then the way Northern Michigan works, like you basically have to budget 40% occupancy on your Airbnb because you're going to rent it all summer. You're going to get some fall colors, maybe some holiday traffic, maybe some President's Weekend traffic. But from
that's really about it.
Moving up here, like it's not warm until May. So like once February is over, like it's still winter, and like winter sucks, but it's not warm for like 2 more months. So you're just not getting anybody showing up till like late May from, because that's what happened on one of my, I do have one Airbnb that has 2 units in it. And we're basically empty from end of February until mid-May. So 2.5 months of zero occupancy. But then it's been renting all summer. So.
Well, next time you come around, come across a nice fourplex, let me know. I actually have a buyer who's I actually have a buyer in this area, looking in this area, who's looking for a fourplex to live in and work
House
on.
hack. Yeah.
House hack, because they have it. They are traveling. They're going to be completely remote, and they're traveling May 1st.
Nice.
So they want to do basically kind of like a flip, a live-in flip, or a live-in and then get it to cash flow. If they could do it with a fourplex, great. If they could do it with a duplex, that's better, or that's good. Duplex would be good. Fourplex would be better.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So I was laughing when I tried to comp this property. There's literally no fourplex within 50 miles of this that's sold within the last 3 years.
How did you comp that? When it comes up with a situation,
it's all cash flow. I don't care what the price is. I mean, that's the Warren Buffett strategy, right? Like Warren Buffett doesn't care what the stock price is over time. He cares about what his basis is because he bought it once, and what is the dividend cash flow over that period of time? How quickly can I get my investment back through the cash flow of the asset? And I'm like, oh, real estate, stock market. Now I get it.
Yep.
So, for me, if I'm all in for 300 and, but I'm making $5,000 a month, say I'm, for sake of the argument, 25% down. So 70,000, 75,000 down, $5,000 a month, call it a 50%, OpEx. So I'm going to cash flow 2,500 a month. And so that's 3,000 a year on 75,000. It's going to take me 2.5 years to get my money back.
Oh, wow.
So that's the concept behind it. That's how I can take an asset like that, bring in a private lender at 8% in long-term position, pay them a really healthy return, secured and insured by physical real estate. And at the same time, now my return goes from 40% to 30% or something like that. Just sharing that pie. It's all about expanding it and sharing it.
Yeah. So, now you're doing that through the bank that relationship that you made.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done any deals on for creative terms? Like, what are you seeing with people on? Are they accepting creative terms? Do they know what it's about? Do you have to explain it a lot?
Yeah, you do spend a lot of time explaining it. I am not super well versed. I've really been bringing it up in conversations over the last 2 months. One of them, I just had this guy. He just didn't want to be a landlord anymore, and his property was basically worth what his mortgage was. And I said, I'll just take over your mortgage.
Okay.
But for me to go out and get bank debt to pay off your bank debt just makes money for the bank, and that's going to be expensive for me. So it's not going to meet my threshold to buy this deal. So we just talked about it, and it made sense for him. The motivation was there. He just didn't want to do it anymore. I said, okay, so I'm going to take it over for his mortgage payment.
Now, did you wholesale that, or did you take that down?
No, so I kept that one.
Okay. And
stuck a tenant in there.
How did you go about doing that? Did you set it up through did you transfer over the deed, and did you set up?
We did full title. I paid the closing costs to title and everything. And he got
how
me
are you setting up the payments and stuff like that?
So he just got me like an authorization to contact or something like that. So I'm authorized to speak to his bank on his behalf. But I just automate it. I try to automate it as much as possible. So rent check comes into my bank account every month automatically a couple days before it's due. I pay it in case there's a hiccup. So I know that payment's coming through and it's hitting the bank and that's been pulled and everything like that. And just keep track of it.
That's one of the biggest questions that I get is a lot of people ask, well, what if you stop paying? I'm still liable, and
that's right.
So how are you getting past that?
So we went out and we recorded a performance deed. So it basically says, this is my pitch. If I don't pay, you're the bank, right? And you got to foreclose on me. Well, that takes, sometimes a 6-12 month process to go through the whole foreclosure. You don't want to deal with that. So record this performance deed that says, hey, if I'm 30 days late, rather than going through foreclosure, you just take the deed back and you own the property again. So you get everything back from the property, all the payments I've made since acquiring it, all the improvements I've made since acquiring, all the rent bumps I've made since acquiring it, and you get the property back. So, what, and then let them go to work. What do you think are some ways you could benefit from a situation like that, and then let them brainstorm the answer?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, do you really do the 30-day lates or 60-day lates?
Mine's 30.
Yours 30? Okay.
Yeah, because
But
if
you've
I'm
automated it, so you have no worry.
I'm going to be a couple days early, and if it doesn't go through, it's like, oh, okay, we're tracking that. Once I get several of those rolling, it's totally worth it to have a servicing company handle it.
That was actually my question. I just couldn't think of the word. The servicing company was whether you have a servicing company actually do that.
Right.
So
I don't now. But
that was actually my pitch was okay, we can get a servicing company to actually do this. We pay the servicing company, they pay and there's a line of security there. We'll pay an extra month up front just to keep everything flowing a month ahead.
And that's the other pitch too. You're talking about security. It's like, hey, if I'm 30 days late, you're going to get the property back. So it gives you a lot of comfort. But for me, I've done a great job putting this deal together. We do want to buy it. It's a good asset. We're going to continue to operate it. Why would I let a 5-figure asset, 6-figure asset go over a couple $100 a month mortgage payment? I'm always going to find that money. Like, that would be silly for me to lose a large asset for a couple $100.
So have you dealt with where they're trying to get another loan for a new house or anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of my success has really been with tired landlords who aren't necessarily sweating moving out and going somewhere else. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We did do one over on the west side here. We got under contract. We wrote 30 days. The seller's like, whoa, that's way too soon. We got to pack up and move out and all that. And okay, we'll write it for 60 days. I say, pick something. Don't just arbitrarily pick it. But my contract, is clear to close in 9 to 90 days, whichever seller's choice is. So we could close quick if it makes sense, and the price will reflect that accordingly. If you need it, full 90 days to pack up and move out and everything, moving expense assistance, all that can be negotiated. So, we did a 60-day. That was a couple of weeks ago, and he called us up yesterday, or no, it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. And he's like, yeah, I got this property under contract and I'm moving and we got to close by the 15th of September. I'm like, okay, pump your brakes. The contract goes until mid-October, so legally we have until mid-October to buy this. Yep. We're going to go through our lender process. It's not quick. Hard money lenders don't go faster than 30 days anymore. So it's going to take time. You're acquiring this. You have the funds in place. You can't buy that one until yours closes. Okay, I hope you have a good realtor who wrote that in your contract. Contingency of A selling in order to purchase B. And you think about all the other stuff. Okay, you do want to move there. Is the seller going to freak and pull the contract if you don't close within 2 weeks instead of 5 weeks or whatever? That realtor that's managing that whole situation, the realtor gets paid when the deal goes through. So that realtor is going to be fighting for everything he can to keep the peace and make sure that transaction happens. So, it'll all work itself out. You just got to kind of manage the drama a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a hiccup, but within 24 hours we were all settled down. So
well, that's always good, So because I know that I know you can write a letter stating that you're doing this, and you may need for the banks to see that, they may need to see a servicer to be able to do that, or basically you making payments on time for 6 months, then they can get off of their debt to asset ratio.
Oh, you're talking about for seller financing?
Seller for sub 2.
Like a sub 2A, they're going to buy something? No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So, but I'm active. Like I said, I'm actively looking for that. I'm actually, I'm trying to do this every Monday every Monday at 8 o'clock, I'm trying to do something like this. Now it's going to be a little bit weird coming into September because I'm actually going on vacation. September 9th, I'm going on vacation for 2
Nice.
weeks.
There you go.
And
hey, do what I do. Do it from the backyard. Do it from the Bahamas. Do it from Bora Bora.
I'm gonna be out in Europe. So
there you go. Do it from Europe.
Oh my God, yeah.
I did our honeymoon was this week.
If I can do it, I will. But I can't promise anything because my wife always comes first. So
yeah, we did our honeymoon in Italy a while back, and
where at?
Just the whole country. We did Rome, Florence, Venice, Tuscany.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're flying into Rome. We're going.
You'll never get out, but you can fly into Rome.
Yeah, so we're flying into Rome. Then we're spending about 3 or 4 days there. We're going up to Pisa, Florence. Then we're going to be going to Venice, then Milan, and then we're going to fly over to Paris from Milan. And we're going to spend our last 3 days in Paris.
Nice. That's good.
So it's going to be 2 weeks long. So I know I just went through it like quick, but there's a lot to do. And
yeah, it's it's a full 6 hours ahead. So at 8 o'clock,
yep.
Webcast, you're not going to be doing it at 2 a.m.
Yeah, probably not.
So we did, when we did our honeymoon, I was fantasy football season at the time. So I was doing a fantasy football draft at 4 a.m. in Italy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what'd your wife say about that?
She didn't care. She was sleeping.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, but
now I got more important things to do, so I don't do fantasy football anymore.
Yeah.
I like when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit and pound rosters and try to trade with my friends and look at it every single day. And at the end of the day, it's all chance anyways, all to fight over like a $500 purse at the end of like 3 months of work. Like,
yeah.
God, talking about knowing your value of your time. Like, oh nope, not doing that anymore.
You see, I have this rule now, like, to be honest, as much as like I'm a diehard Lions fan, I am. Mm-hmm. But I only follow the Lions, so I don't really follow anybody else. For me, a fantasy football would just go to waste, honestly.
Yeah, I loved it because it's very entrepreneurial, right? You're basically taking the players in the marketplace and trying to craft the best team based on the parameters of the league. So,
yep.
I got into it
numbers.
big time. Yeah. Ran the league for many years, and we had a dynasty league and keep players year after year and, draft rookies and everything like that. So, it's pretty intense. A lot of really random people and random stats about, the entire league. Like back in the day in college, you just have Sunday ticket because they throw it in on your package or whatever. Next thing you know, like Sunday from 1 until midnight, you're watching football games.
So it's really crazy on all of that. So like my brother, he's diehard and he does all that. He gets into the online fantasy football and things like that. I'm into making money. And not that kind of money. I'm into making like real estate kind of money, So
I say that's circling back, going to advice for first-time wholesalers that are out there. If anybody's still paying attention, an hour and 15 minutes into the broadcast.
Crazy.
But like there's so many people out there that just kind of like don't know what they're doing. If you take your time and learn to do it the right way and execute it, it's all about repetition. If you can get it done, that's just learning experience for the next one. And I've really developed this whole little investor packet that I put together. Every deal I have that's like a true deal going out on the marketplace has like a comp analysis from the MLS. It's got a deal analyzer for a flip or a burr or a rental property or whatever. It's got, I have an investor partner guide that basically gives a background on my company and the deals that we've done. So people can read through that. That's like 5 pages or something like that. Every property is going to have an executive summary. So on one page, you can see exactly what the property is doing, what it's worth, what the parameters are, what the conditions are, what we can expect for rent, rehab, after repair, everything like that. You start to develop this your own system of doing things, and once it's down, you can just rinse, wash, repeat. It's really about documenting your systems and executing them.
So you do give when you're wholesaling, you do give a rehab budget.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's super easy. Every property in Metro Detroit that's under 200 grand is $30K to start. Paint, floors, kitchen, bath, doors, and trim. 30,000.
Okay.
It's 1,200 square feet and under. That's your start. If it needs a roof, you go up from there. If it needs furnace, you go up from there. If it doesn't need a kitchen, you go down. But that's the basic start. And then the other piece is that I'm a very, I don't know, whatever you call it, HGTV in my rehabbing things, and being a CPA, I love to conservatively budget things. I did a flip up here, bought it for 80, put 65 in, sold it for 190. But halfway through, I had lunch with the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I invest, and my best friend's a GC, and my other buddy's an electrician, and we get a case of beer and do the work on the weekends to control the labor costs." And that's when it clicked for me. I'm like, crap, I could have wholesaled this guy for 100, and he would have only been in for 20. So you always let people do their numbers. But at the end of the day, like this Kalamazoo deal that I'm looking at, I pushed everything together. And I'm like, man, if I do this the way I want to do this and really like put the bells and whistles, you're changing out the beams on the front porch and putting in natural wood, and you're finishing out the basement and putting in a whole brand new garage door and mechanisms and everything like that, and really doing it the right way. That just doesn't justify it for the property. So
no, it doesn't.
It's not something that I want to take on. And especially when you roll in like, the fourplex deal and all these other things going on, I don't want to take another project on my plate like that. So that's where it comes down to, hey, let's just put a healthy $50,000 renovation budget. Let the investor get through the property and assess it for themselves and what they think the numbers truly are. And at the end of the day, they're the big boy making the decision, the big girl making the decision. They're the one. It's business, man. You got to be able to evaluate your numbers and make a business decision on whether it's something that you're willing to take on risk wise. So
most definitely. And that's the one thing is I think I give a rough estimate, but I don't go in depth with the rental budget. I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, it's going to be dependent on you, whether you're going to be doing some of the work, whether what prices you can get them at, things like that. So
that's kind of the beauty of doing it the way I do, because I'll never do it myself. I'll always hire it out, so I'm always going to be high. So there's opportunity. Like I'll put my numbers together, it'd still be a $30,000 profit, and the guy's like, I can do half of this myself, and now I'm making 50. I'm like, great.
Yeah,
I'll send that.
Like if I were to do my kitchen renovation that I did, if I were to hire somebody out to do it, it'd be over 100 grand. We gutted it to the studs though. And
nice.
then I reframed it. So I took out a wall as well. I'm still paying on it, but I'm in like over 60 grand right now, about that. But that also includes the whole first floor of flooring.
Yeah.
I redid the flooring on the whole first floor. So that, because of the flooring, I wanted to do it all at the same time, but it's like, I did a lot of it myself. There are some things that like, I could have put the time away and actually did the flooring, but it was faster to hire somebody to do that, so I found somebody who did that at a reasonable rate.
That's so true. I just bought remnant flooring to do my basement. It's only like 400 square feet. I'm like, you know what? Like, F it. I got a really great price on it. I'm just going to do it myself. Like, 4 months later, it's still like I have 2 rows in my basement.
Yep.
Just splayed all over the place. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to this. Just can't,
You know how
can't
long it took him
justify like
to
going
lay?
hammering in plank.
Yeah, they're 1,300 square feet on the first floor. Okay,
Yeah.
you know how long it took him?
2 days.
So that's what he thought it was going to take him, but because the lengths are like 6 feet long and things like that, it took him about a week, actually. Him and one other person, but they were really good, and is very professional and very, on everything. So I recommend it anytime anybody asks me for a flooring guy. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a handyman installing laminate flooring on my last flip, and it took him a week and a half. I'm like, this is dumb. Like, this shouldn't take this long. It's only
Yeah.
1,100 square foot house, and it's a ranch. Like, you're not going up any stairs or anything. And I ended up talking to Lumber Liquidators, where I got the flooring from, and they're like, oh, we have a guy that full-time installs for us. I'm like, oh, okay. So ever since then, I've been using him, and he's cheaper and faster. He did
Yes.
a 1,200 square foot apartment for me in literally 12 hours. He started late Monday, and he was nailing in the trim Wednesday morning. So
Yep. And mine, I had to do some leveling too, so that's another reason why. So
you put it in.
I went
it's
over
all
existing
warranted
hardwood,
and everything.
all of it. And then I put in my own cabinets. I did everything. Like, I did all the prep work myself. I did it as I started learning all of this stuff. And I think it went into, once it got into spring and summer and things like that, my time started being way more valuable, and so I'm like, okay, I learned this. This is great, but I need to have somebody else do it. So little projects like, probably a couple of weekends ago, I did whitewashing on the brick fireplace, things like that. That's okay to have it be a project. I spent $100, on the material, but you know, doing all that labor and everything, that's fine. But I'm more valuable being on the phones and getting
Right.
properties under
Find
contract.
your zone of genius. Yep.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is actually what you're doing a lot more texting deals and things like that, or cold calling, and so when I get back from my vacation, I'm actually going to be going some more campaigns and things like that, and have my VA go through that. So that'll be really nice. But I'm looking for, if you want a JV on any deals you got here and you don't want to come down here, by all means, give me a call. You got my
Heck
number,
yep.
So you
Work
need me
smarter,
to
not
walk through
harder.
something? Yeah, you need me to walk through something, I'll walk through something with you.
Yeah.
And we can JV on it, and I can send out my buyers, yours, and so a lot of these new wholesalers, like, I ask them what they get under contract for, and they're like, oh, I can't get that secret away. And I'm like, okay, but you want a JV with me? Yeah, we could JV if you got a buyer, this and that. And so,
You want to know what you're working for.
I want to know exactly.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm working for. So, and they're like, well, you give me 50,000. They still don't tell me what they have it under contract for. They're like, you give me 50,000. Anything above that, you keep. I'm like, okay. Well, what do you have it advertised for? Oh, we have it out there for 50 grand. Oh, then I'm not going to do that, because my buyers are out there on Facebook as well. And if you're out there advertising for 50,000 and I'm advertising for, say, 55,000, well, they're going to be like, well, why don't we just buy it from him once they see that? Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just a simple, and whether they see it or they don't see it, what happens if we go to closing and then they see it? They're going to be pissed. So I've gone through this process while I've been doing this, and while I've been JVing with people. I've learned from these mistakes, because this stuff has actually happened to me, and so I've learned that, like, hey, no, I got to negotiate, or I got to tell them, hey, we advertise at the same price. So I always ask them, how long have you advertised it for? What are you putting it out at? and go from there. So we're both on the same page. If not, I'm not your guy to JV with. No problem. There's always the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I totally get the add your fee on top stuff because, especially for me, I have a huge marketing budget. So I got to hit my thresholds on every deal for it to make sense for me to chase it. Man, I got this referral passed to me and I sent it off to another buyer because I didn't have any buyers fit in that buy box. And next thing you know, I'm like grinding through this deal for a week plus for like $2,000. Like that just doesn't cut it for me. I could be spending my time elsewhere doing better, bigger deals. So I totally understand that side of it. But yeah, if you're going to throw it out there and just to the multiverse and at a certain price, and then you want somebody to come in and just add their fee on top. Yeah, I see that a ton. Like, wholesalers add your fee on top. It's like, that's fine. But, for me, the first step I do is call my network. I don't throw it out on social media unless I've kind of exhausted everybody I know. And that's one of the big things I work on a weekly basis is just continuing to connect and talk with people and roll on. So I'm glad I jumped on like, oh, everyone's asleep in the house. Let's hang out with Randy.
Exactly.
So, and then who was it? Khalif was on here earlier. So
his power went out. His power went out and then like internet kind of went out in that area. And I think that's,
that's what I do. The first thing I do is go to the network and see what people have, because then that gives us the flexibility to kind of make sure that everybody's getting fed at where they need to get fed for the deal to happen. So
most definitely. So this is the first time I've tried this StreamYard.
It's cool. I like it.
And I really do like it, honestly. I think it's really cool. I think I'm going to end up getting a paid subscription to it. I think it's like $25 a month or something like that, but it's kind of definitely worth it,
Yeah, if you're running every week, and
that's the reason features. Why. It makes it worth
maybe like
it.
Wait until like November after you've gone through your vacation. You got a whole month under your belt. Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm waiting.
It's your Christmas present to yourself.
Yes. So I'll get a wholesale deal to pay for it.
Yeah, right.
Pay for a year up front,
Yeah, there you go.
So
get it on terms.
Oh man, that's funny. Oh, actually, Pace Morby? He's the king of all terms, right?
Yeah.
His master course. You can actually purchase it on terms.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah. You can make payments to it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we've got
there's lots of cool stuff we can do this. We can, shorten it up a little bit, keep it a tight 45 or something. But you can do tons of topics. And, this week we're talking about, disgruntled tenants or,
Yes. And that's what I'm trying to get
questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to, people's questions, things like that. So I'm trying to feed through it. So right now, like I know wholesaling, I know where the market from my buyers, I know where the market's going, things like that. And I want to get feedback from, other people that's in the market as well. I want to own rentals, but I don't yet. So I need people like you who do own rentals to know, give me, hey, how are you going through all this,
Yeah.
So, and then we can kind of go from there. But I think we're going to go ahead and end this stream. And I really do appreciate Andrew coming in. And,
it's fun.
It is really awesome. Stuff. Awesome talking with you, man. So
cool. Well, see you whenever.
Yeah,
you running
the
on
next one, man.
Labor Day or what? You doing that on the Tuesday?
Don't know yet. I haven't, I'm thinking about doing it on Monday, but maybe I might just change it to Tuesday because everybody's going to be either out on a boat or, barbecue.
It's Monday night. Like people will be back. My wife's going to Pittsburgh Friday through Monday, so she'll be back. But you'll just see me exhausted from watching all three kids all weekend.
Yeah, oh, most definitely. So, well, you have a good one, and
Cool.
let me know
Yeah,
when
good
you're
catching
down
up,
here
man.
again. All right. Let me know when
Wednesday.
you're down here. Well,
Yeah, you do
this Wednesday.
late lunch Wednesday or something. Yeah.
So Dean actually has a master class on Wednesday. So I think if you want to do if you want to go to that, I think that would be nice. But
What time?
it
I don't know, Dean.
it it's later in the day. But you're not staying down here. You're just coming down here and going right back home, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home. So my first showing's at 10, and my last right now is at 6.
Okay. I think it's at like 6:30.
Okay. I mean, shit, if I'm already
So
there, you know.
yeah, I'll send you the details. I just got
Okay.
it yesterday. So actually, no, just got it today. So I'll send you the details.
Cool.
So awesome,
All
man.
right. Sounds
I'll
good.
talk to you
Happy
later.
wholesaling, everybody.
Thanks. Yeah, everybody, happy wholesaling. Have a good one. If you have any problems or any issues, have any questions, want a JV, contact me. Randy buys houses mi@gmail.com. Also, you can give me a call at 586-307-4765. Also, one quick, Andrew, how can people get a hold of you
So
if they want
cell's
to
the
talk?
easiest. Call or text. This is my cell 248-229-0544. My company is Mitten Property Solutions. I don't think I have any swag around right now in my office, but yeah, Andrew at mittenpropertysolutions.com. You know, Michigan Mitten, it's really easy to remember. But yeah, a text is the best way, honestly, because I'll always
Awesome.
see a text and just start the conversation and love networking with people.
Sounds great, man. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later and talk to you.